Hello, welcome to FDT-TV, the review podcast, week 11. I am Phil, and with me I have got the sad gunner Mike. And we've got a happy hammer this week, Ian. Oh, not showing his face.
I am showing my face.
Aggressive.
I am showing my face. It's right here.
So today we are reviewing the games from the weekend, and we had West Ham took on Southampton at St Mary's. We had Liverpool taking on the Watford at Anfield, and then Arsenal took on City at home on Sunday. Some good games and some bad games. So first of all, we'll go to West Ham at St Mary's for a good review. I think it was an interesting game.
Yep.
So Ian, take your thoughts.
The faults: the referee should be sacked and never referee a football game again. The person in the VAR box should be sacked and never VAR or anything ever again. Michael Antonio is an absolute beast, or Mikel Antonio, as I should say. Should pronounce his name properly, shouldn't I? Sebastian Haller, it winds me up as much as West Ham fans who are now raving about him. He put in a 6 out of 10 at best. He didn't move much. That's why he was in position for that really shitty half volley that he did. Southampton were poor. Mark Noble put in a captain's performance. We come out 1-0. We've still got Pellegrini,
which we're very happy about.
I cannot.
Face.
I can't believe it, right? I cannot believe it, right? So that makes 2 wins in 11 games. At what point, as a Premier League team, is that acceptable? In my book, it's not. 2 wins in 11 is what, 38 games in a season. So that's 6 wins in 33 games. If you carry on that form.
Yeah. Most managers would lose a job with that season.
You are being relegated bottom of the table. He's listened to what fans have said and what all the statisticians have said, is that Haller can play as a 4-4-2. It will in a 4-4-2 with a strike partner. So yes, he's played that formation. Yes, it's worked. He said that Felipe Anderson was ill. Well, Felipe Anderson wasn't ill. Felipe Anderson had a swollen foot, which was quite well documented that he hurt his foot in training. Why lie about it? Unless they're going to try and off him in January, which I hope they do. I can't get my head round why we've paid so much money for a striker that can only play in one system. He can't be a lone striker. He can only play with a strike partner. I don't know why we've paid so much money for a manager who is clueless, that keeps bringing on Carlos Sanchez, who almost gave away 2 goals in that game. Every time he comes on, he makes a mistake. He just passes it straight to the fucking opposition. And it winds me up as a West Ham fan. I could do better than that. I am unfit. I am not a footballer. Yet I'm a better footballer than a professional footballer playing in the top league in the world. Yes, we've won, so I'm happy. I'm not happy because we've won, because we now kept the manager.
And you were lucky to get that win as well. I think Southampton did push you.
At the end, Danny Ings, sign him up, get rid of Haller, just do a straight swap. He hit the post, or the crossbar. Shane Long should have put that in first time. Shay Adams looks like a striker with no confidence, because last year he would have banged that goal in without it bouncing. This year he let it bounce. Brauena put him off. They should have been a draw at least. What I have read is that the board are taking Pellegrini's job in a match by match basis. So I'm holding on to a little bit of confidence in that. That all right, yes, we've got him for a week where we don't play a game. But then we're going to get tonked by Liverpool, at which point we get a new manager. Why not just do it now? If we're doing it by game basis, we all know that game's just a write-off. We're writing off that week. We're writing off Man City and probably Leicester for the second game of the season. Just get rid of him now.
Sneak in, get Ancelotti before someone else does.
No, well, Ancelotti's already gone. He's already signed. He's just dotting the I's and crossing the T's to go to Everton. Getting Eddie Howe. Get in Sean Dyche. Get back Big Sam. Get David Moyes. Get someone who requires a fucking work ethic from some players. We've got half a team who try and half a team who cannot be bothered.
Yeah. Need the guy from Wolves.
Nuno
Espirito.
He won't come to West Ham. It's not worth his day. What I have heard,
he won't even come to us.
no, but
brilliant guy.
But what I have heard, in fairness, he looks like Nathan Redmond. If Nathan Redmond in like 30 years.
Do you know what? So something's just been said, right? And it's like an itch which I can't scratch at the moment. So I'm just gonna have to do it. Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche. You know what that scratch is? It's in the middle of your throat, isn't it? We all know where that is. Yeah. So all I would say is, I'm happy because we've got players like Mark Noble and Antonio who do put in those sort of performances. Declan Rice was again consistent. Aaron Cresswell played really well. Snodgrass I thought was good. Fornals I thought was good. They all showed a bit of effort. Apparently Felipe Anderson is now fit and ready to play again for our next game. He shouldn't even be in the starting lineup because he puts in zero effort. Why would you take a team that seemed to be putting in a bit of effort to put in someone who doesn't? Get rid of Pellegrini. # Pellegrini out. The back two played all right. David Martin. No. Well, here's my thoughts. David Martin. People saying he played really well. He made one save, which he almost dropped, and it almost went in top bins. Other than that, didn't really have much to do until the end, at which point the goal was being peppered. He injured himself seemingly, kicking the ball, and now they reckon he's going to be out for a couple of weeks, at which point Stumpy gets back in, so we definitely lose. And on that note, VAR, in what world do you live in where grabbing someone around the neck and throwing them on the floor is not a penalty, or 2, running full pace into someone shoulder first, halfway down their back is not a penalty, let alone them both happening at the same time in the same box. And then getting a whole VAR review, everyone, commentators, the people after the match, the Southampton fans, the Southampton manager, me, Pellegrini, if anything, I don't know if he was watching, Roy Hodgson, Phil's nan apparently, everyone was watching and went, penalty. Right? I don't know what the score is if you get 2 penalties in a penalty. Do you get 2 penalties? I think that should be a rule. We should have had 2 penalties from one incident, and we got 0.
Robbed.
So that annoyed me, but also VAR done Antonio out of a good goal, and it also done me out of £90 because I put a bet on for the first time in a long time, and Sadio Mane scored, but I didn't get my winnings because VAR ruled it out. So
by his armpit.
I don't. Just don't want my head. You know.
Do you know what? When we started this podcast, we were trying to think of things to talk about, and VAR was kind of like the hot topic for about 9 weeks.
Doesn't go away, does it?
No. To be fair, we haven't actually mentioned it in a good couple of weeks.
We've been good.
But this week it was like kind of back with a vengeance.
It was that thing you just think, oh, it's simmering down. No, I'm still here.
Yeah.
No.
Gotta get you.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh God, just go away. Just leave us alone. We don't care anymore.
Just go back from where you came from.
Ruining it. That's it. Just go back into who brought it in. Whose idea was it?
Oh, God knows.
The
FA.
Yeah, well, just fire all of them as well.
UEFA, not the FA. It's above that.
Just everyone. I mean, it works every other league apart from ours. So something's wrong with it, and I think it's the officials.
Yep.
And people say we've got really good officials. Steve Bruce will disagree, especially this week. Jamie Vardy's goal got put down as an own goal, so he's no longer.
That wasn't own goal, though, was it?
It wasn't. He's no longer on his score streak, which will annoy him. But just get rid of it. I don't care anymore. I'd rather like
refs can make mistakes, not make mistakes and then have VAR make mistakes on top of it.
Well, you would think that's what VAR was to bring in, and it's just a case of no, right? That was an absolute disaster of a decision. But he's my mate, so I'm not going to tell him he's wrong because he get told off in the morning. So he was wrong. It was right. Don't worry about
So
it.
we just move on to something a bit more positive.
What, Pellegrini's left? I've not seen the news.
No, we'll go to the other game on Saturday. So Liverpool taking on Watford. Now this was an interesting game from my perspective, and I think from any other perspective. I would massively advocate anyone to go out there and have a watch of Mo's first goal and the different camera angles. There's something we got amazing at Anfield, and there's this wonderful 360-degree matrix-style camera system where they can pause, turn the angle, and show you.
So what you're saying is Anfield's cameras and the angles they have on goal are better than the VAR cameras and the angles that they can get. Is that what you're telling me, Phil?
They're awesome. Watch Mo's goal in that amazing view. His first one, where he absolutely destroyed Watford's defenders.
To be fair, you only need to watch. You only need to watch the Sky Sports footage, or the match of the day footage. I mean, that's good enough. It was an absolute worldie of a goal.
Yeah, but this is even better. Makes it look even better. It's one to do. But what can I say? Watford, you can tell why they're down the bottom. They just can't score. They had chances. We really didn't play very well. We gave them a lot of chances to come through at us, and they just fluffed every single one of them, which was funny. I think there was quite a few players on our side who had a day off. Van Dijk made me absolutely hilariously laugh when he almost put it in the back of the net when he tried to pass it to Alisson, but thinking Alisson was in some completely different locations where he was. But then I think we persisted. I was, again, frustrated. VAR taking Mane's goal off. I think it's a very well-worked goal. But to have your armpit offside, that's not going to make any difference to anything. He headed it in with his head, which was behind his armpit.
I reckon if he had put it in with his armpit, they would have ruled it off for handball. So, So he can't score with that, can he? So it should have been a goal. Where's my 90 quid?
Right to the FA. Should be mine.
just on that game. I mean, you've pretty much summed it up really well there. That Watford, you can definitely tell they are a team lacking in confidence. That they should have been at least 3-0 up before you even had it, or before Salah had an even sniff of the goal. But yeah, I mean, Nigel Pearson has just come in now. I think, or he did wonders when he was working with Leicester for a while, and I think they will improve. I still potentially think they will get relegated, but they've got
the players.
Yeah.
Troy Deeney's an awesome little player. Now he's back, he can score, and Delafelu is potent in attack as well.
They have got very good players. I think you summed it up perfectly there. They're a team lacking confidence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. And unfortunately, Mo did it with a little cheeky back kill as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that was naughty.
That was
a naughty goal.
That was so good to watch.
Do you think Watford will end up with a fourth manager this season?
A fourth?
No.
Or you reckon they'll stick with Nigel Pearson?
Yeah.
I feel you've got to put trust in someone.
They haven't done, have they ever?
No, I think that will be it for this season. There's only so much that you can do for within a short time period, and it would be stupid to get rid of him, I think.
I've got a lovely stat for you guys now, and you might be unbelievable for this. So Mo Salah now scored 84 goals in 126 games.
I think we've got a Mo Salah fanboy going on here.
Yeah. Would you be surprised? But this is the unbelievable thing. He's got there quicker than Suarez and Torres did.
I did see that the other day. Actually.
I am so surprised at. It doesn't seem that way.
But he's playing in a better team.
And he's not a striker.
Yeah, but I still think he's
winger.
Yeah, but that system is, if you took out Robert Firmino from that, him and Mo Salah don't get, well, Mane and Mo Salah don't get the goals that they do. Got unbelievably unselfish player in the middle of the park there.
Yeah, and Mane, who's creative as well. Some of the goals he's created in the last couple of weeks has been awesome. But then Mo could score a lot more. He has missed so many chances.
He's also passed a lot to Salah for the assist. He's again an unselfish player. I think that's why he's got so many goals. He's got a team full of unselfish people
who like to finish and score.
Yeah.
So, should we go on to the unhappy?
No. Come back to me because I'll tell you a bit more about VAR and why it's wrong.
Let's talk about VAR then.
Okay, let's talk about VAR.
It's better than Arsenal versus Man City.
Manu Lanzini, and there is one Everton player, I can't remember his name, are the only two people to get retrospectively banned for simulation.
Wow.
There is a video from the Manchester City and Arsenal game, which Mike will not be very happy about me pointing out.
Guendouzi.
Which is Guendouzi quite clearly throwing himself on the floor. I will add, he's not the only player to do it. However, now we've got VAR, surely that should have been picked up as well, that he's simulated and that he should be booked. Or should they look at it retrospectively, because it has got a lot of publicity, and ban him for 3 games like they did the other 2?
Ban him.
It just
got to be consistent.
Yeah, exactly. That was a little bit ludicrous, but I mean, is it going to make any difference? God, I sound like such a miserable sod today. I'm like, the world's collapsing. My team are doing so rubbish.
But it's true though.
No, I do. It needs to be consistent. We've said this all along. That VAR needs to be consistent. There are no consistencies.
Phil doesn't care for your consistencies. He doesn't care. He's gone.
This is what I think.
Oh,
Jeez, I've had enough of your shit. I'm going.
Well, come back when you've cheered.
This pessimism is really getting me down.
No, I do. I would agree that needs to be looked at retrospectively. It needs to be done across the board. We've been, as I said, we've been banging on about how inconsistent it is. There do need to be consistencies. That should be looked at, and he should be banned.
So, Mike, what are your opinions on Ozil and his best shot of the day, kicking his gloves?
Oh, I thought it was a cracking shot.
Oh, I thought he played all right, to be fair.
Yeah,
with his turn, he had some tricky turns. He put in some balls. Not all of them worked, but I thought he played all right.
To be honest,
he was just lacking a lot of things. He just was not.
No. I tell you what, and I've said this for the last few weeks, is that I think he's been one of our best performers. Unfortunately, and I said it about 2 or 3 games ago, that he was in, or he was the one making advanced positions, advanced runs, screaming for the ball, doesn't get the pass, because it could just be that one link. So he gets the ball in, holds the ball up, and then sends someone else on away, which is what he's done for years and years and years. But
that's why
but we just don't have a team that seem to be interested in playing at the moment. We're not creating chances. Our first and only chance, right? Ready for this? You probably already know it, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Our first and only shot on target yesterday come in 34 seconds.
34 seconds at the start?
At the start of the game.
Did you not,
Martinelli.
Didn't Aubameyang have one shot on goal that was like just poor?
Yeah, it was a shot in the second half.
Yeah.
It went wide of the post, but that's what I said. We had one shot on target.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry, my bad.
One shot on target.
Against.
Did you actually watch the whole game, Mike, or did you get fed up like most of the Arsenal fans?
No. I the whole game. I put myself through that punishment. Granted, there were times I thought I'm gonna switch it off, but.
I turned off at 80 minutes. I was like, this ain't going to change.
I love my team, and that's probably why I'm getting so annoyed, because it's something I'm really passionate about. Obviously, because otherwise I wouldn't be doing the podcast. I feel sorry for Freddie Ljungberg. I really do. He's basically called out the board at the weekend, saying, "Look, I'm only doing this to help you guys out. You need to kind of pull the trigger and quickly." Obviously, the predictions that we made last week about Ancelotti coming to Arsenal, that's obviously not going to happen now. We've seen stuff on social media coming out that the directors or the chief execs being pictured coming away from Mikel Arteta's place at 1:10 in the morning. So I think it's going to be pretty conclusive that that's going to be the side that we're going to make.
I think they're just sleeping together, Mike, if I'm honest.
No, well, maybe.
Feel a strange rumour to start.
Yeah.
But you heard it here first.
I can't see the silver lining at the moment. I really can't. We've got a team of players that should be more than capable. Granted, we've been hit by injuries again, which I know is no excuse. Poor Kieran Tierney just can't catch a break at the moment. Well, he can catch a break because he's done his bloody shoulder in, or he dislocated his shoulder. So I say him out for 3 months. Bellerin's still obviously coming back from his ACL injury.
Kolasinac got injured, did he?
Kolasinac has got, yeah.
Just need a whole new defence and a whole new midfield.
Yeah, the only thing that we do have that's any good is the attacking. But if you haven't got the team behind you,
they can't do much.
No.
And you are only 7 points away from relegation.
7.
We are closer. I think we're closer to relegation than we are top 4.
Yeah, you are.
And it's not going to be an easy journey out, is it?
No, it's not. The only good thing I can say, I know we haven't actually spoken about the game properly yet. So we lost 3-0 to City. We were diabolical. For the first 30 seconds, we were like, oh, yeah, probably going to take the game to City. A minute later, we concede a goal. And
then De Bruyne's won the goal.
De Bruyne, he had a good finish, but they cut us open too easy. We're an absolute abomination of a team, and I'm so disgusted with how we've been playing recently. After the West Ham game, I thought, do you know what? Maybe we'll kick on from here. I didn't think for 1 minute that we would go out and beat them. There was part of me that was hoping for a draw, at least.
But you'd hope to be competitive.
Yeah, but we were absolutely shocking.
Do you think that? I mean, I don't think you were particularly good, but I think Man City were back to their best. That's a Man City you expect to see week in, week out now.
Yeah.
But they've just not been there for a lot of games this season. Do you think that had a major play that they seem to up their game for you?
Well, we said it last week, didn't we? That after City lose or have lost the game this season, they do go out and tonk the next team.
They did that. You got that right.
And it could have been more. Surely I should get a bonus point for that. Surely.
No, because we all went for a City win.
No, I just, as I said, I feel sorry for Ozil. Martinelli, I think, was again the standout player for me. I do feel sorry for Ozil. Torreira, I thought, was okay. Pepe, didn't really see much from him. Aubameyang, didn't really see much from him. I did hear, actually, there was something I read in relation to Lacazette, because obviously he's been dropped to the bench. And what was said was that he, whenever Aubameyang and Lacazette play in the same team together, we kind of get opened up defensively.
Yep.
Which is true, but we saw from last year that those two get goals.
Mm-hmm.
I did actually say a couple of weeks ago that there seemed to be kind of like shackles on the team. We were trying to do stuff where we go 5 at the back against Leicester, trying something new to make it more defensive. We know our defence is absolutely shocking at the moment. So go out and Phil, you mentioned it a couple of years ago, the Liverpool team of 2011, 2012, I think it was.
Even later than that, 15, 16.
What, the Brendan Rodgers one?
Yeah.
Oh,
leaky as hell.
But you guys were getting goals. You know what I mean? It's just go out and just go at teams. If you get goals, great. If you don't get goals, then
you try.
At least you've tried. Yeah.
You can play good football and it's entertaining.
But I would much rather see us have lost 3-2 than 3-0. But
well,
we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't make anything of the game, as I said, other than the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So
you got a few days to go, and then you can train some more. Will Freddie continue to make improvements, or do you think they'll bring in someone and Need a total change.
We do need a total change. Freddie's well out of his depth. What I was just about to come on to just before I started recapping the game was obviously the links with Arteta. Now, me and him were actually speaking about this before you joined the call today.
While we was waiting.
Yeah, whilst we were like wasting away, the Arteta is a big gamble, but he's been mentored under one of the best managers in the modern era of the game. So it can't be a bad thing, but we do need someone to come in and do something with the defence. If not, do what I said and just go absolutely all out attack every game.
Just go for we're going to score more than you.
Yeah. That's it. That's the only way we're going to do it at the moment.
I do think you're right. I think Arteta is a gamble because he's never held a first team spot or a first team coach, has he? He's been in the first team.
But it's very well, highly regarded.
He is, but if I was him, I'd be looking at it going, how savable is it? How well can I do this year? And if I can't, if I'm not going to make a success of it, if I'm just going to stable the ship, I don't want to be there until the beginning of next season, because otherwise my first season is going to be, we did nothing. We know how volatile Arsenal fans are. They're not exactly one for rearing up at the Emirates, are they? And getting that place rocking, it's quite a hard thing.
And is there money to spend? That's the other thing. If you're going to come into a team like this,
there's got to be.
Are you going to have the money to spend in January to actually then try and rescue or do something this season, or have something in next summer?
I know they're a bit temperamental, aren't they, your owners, with money, but I think that they're not silly enough to go, if we don't invest something now, it's all just going to go. You see how quickly some of those big teams that were at the top of, for example, Leeds, Luton, were at the top of English football for a long time. The investment wasn't there the same as some of the other teams, and when they did drop down, Luton have only just got back in the Championship after 15 years, something like that.
Sunderland.
Look at Sunderland is another one.
Portsmouth,
Bury, if you're from Bury, or Bury to the rest of us, they've gone. Bolton, others. As when you take that drop, which Arsenal have done this season, you've taken that drop. It's a long way down if you don't get it right first time. I still think Big Sam.
Yeah, well,
we were saying this
a few weeks ago that we do. The pair of us think that he could do a brilliant job at a team like Arsenal, because this is when we were talking about Solskjaer getting sacked, Unai Emery getting sacked, Pochettino getting sacked. That we do think that he would be a manager to turn a team around like that. The football might not be attractive, but he would bolster up the defence. He'd then work on the scoring aspect of it, and then you get the confidence back.
The rest falls into place.
He's just not that marquee signing.
I would rather have him and 100 as an Arsenal with that squad. You look at the individual players and say that's top 4 minimum, with maybe a quarterfinals of the Champions League every year minimum, and then you're going to be challenging the other cups. With him at the helm, I think you're going to get that year in, year out, same as you did with Arsene Wenger. He's used to working recently at clubs with not a lot of budget. He's the only England manager with a 100% record.
That's a good point.
That's an accolade no one else has got. But you think you got the Spygate and things like that, and people like saying about stats. He's the person who brought that into football in the top league. Yeah. He wanted all the stats. He was sitting down with the statisticians. He brought in that first job role of an analyst. So I want to know how far they've run, what their heartbeat was, what positions they were in. He's the one who introduced that, and now everyone uses it. He doesn't play players out of position, and he wants a good work ethic. I don't see why you don't go right. We want to be fucking
better out there.
We want to be hard to beat. What, Arteta's better than him?
No, I think you should go for Eddie Howe. I think they should go all out for Eddie Howe. I think he'll make a big difference if he can get him to leave Bournemouth.
I think he would want money to spend. I think he would look at some of those players and say, the work ethic's not there as I want. I want different players.
I would be interested to see if anyone goes in January, because I think as it stands at the moment, we are at risk of losing Aubameyang and Lacazette for starters.
Are you thinking that then they'll try and sell them for money rather than losing them for nothing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, because they're both.
I can see that happening.
Their contracts run out at the end of next year.
That's a long way down. Long way down. Or would they do what they did with Ramsey and just go, nah, it's fine, he'll be all right.
No,
then he doesn't.
I'll tell you what, if they do that, they are going to make themselves look stupid, because we had Ralstonelli and Vinay, whatever his bloody name is. They did an interview with Laura Woods for Arsenal Media in the interim periods of last season and this season, basically saying that there's been a whole new restructure at the club. We've got these areas that we're working on. So the academy feeds into this, blah, 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 blah. They were also saying that the topic of Aaron Ramsey come up, basically saying how he was a lost cause, basically, because we'd left it too long to sort his contract out. And because he was then coming to the end of his contract, wage demands and stuff could have been astronomical, which they were never going to kind of bow down to. But they also said that their position going forwards were going to be that they were going to try and tie up contracts nice and early, so we wouldn't be in this position again with the likes of Van Persie, who else? Aaron Ramsey, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So I do.
Is it Sanchez?
No.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Jack
Ozil.
Wilshere went, didn't he, for nothing?
And that's what I mean. Like we have lost some good players over the years. So if we don't. If they don't go in January, they'll definitely go in the summer. Those two, if we don't make top four,
I think
if we don't qualify for the Champions League.
If you lose them in January, and you don't pull out a big money signing to replace them, I think a lot of those heads in that team are going to drop and go, we've got nothing, and that's then a very dangerous position to be in. Which is why I think Arteta would be very good next season. Fresh start, get his methods in, get his ethic in, but is he the man to stabilise that ship for the next 6 months? I don't know. That's a lot of very, very important man management skills needed there.
But you think about it, he's got the history of the club as an ex-captain of the club, knows the values and all that sort of stuff. And I know it's the same with Freddie Ljungberg, but I think in the terms of their development or their managerial development, Arteta is, I'd say, a lot further on.
Yes. Oh,
than
I agree with you there.
And
what about the fans? You need someone to bring on who's going to get the fans back on board. The fans aren't, as you say,
the fans
aren't loving it.
The fans weren't on board when Wenger was in charge, and he was doing a sterling job when you look at it.
And you've got the highest ticket prices in the league.
If you still, have the...
And this is the thing,
even higher ticket prices in the Championship.
They were talking about the match day revenue. They were talking about the accounts for the last 6 months or the last year, saying that they're down on match day revenue. And to be honest, again, I'm not surprised, because they're the tickets are far time. Well, no, because the tickets are sold. It's irrelevant. You don't charge you per half. But the ticket revenues are far too high, or the ticket prices are far too high. And it's not that the standard of football is not warranted at the moment. I'm constantly getting emails now about games that they've got tickets for via the ticket exchange, Red membership. Yeah, loads.
So do you think then that partly is, one, ticket prices are too high for the quality of football, but two, it's Arsenal fans sort of voting with their feet and saying we're not coming? If you was to have,
it could well be.
if they
It
was
could well be.
to stage an organised walkout of we're just not going to turn up. Season tickets is quite hard to do because you've already paid your money up front.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of money. So I mean, if it was me, even if that is happening, and I don't agree with it, I'm going to that game because I've paid that money. You know.
Yep.
Mike, so what is your
I think Ian was
stadium capacity? Yeah, sorry.
But what I was going to say is, going back to it just quickly, is if the Arsenal fans then started to go, we're not coming, we're not turning up, we're not paying the money. Do you think that's the only point where the owners would say, okay, well, it's affecting us monetarily now, we need to change something. Something needs to happen. We need to change the philosophy of how we're dealing with this club.
Yes, I think that's the only way the board are going to react. I mean, if you look at the game we had a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember who it was again. It might have been like Eintracht Frankfurt or someone, and they were talking about, or they showed the stats of it, and there was 40,000 tickets that were sold for that game. There was no way there was 40,000 people in that stadium.
No.
It was absolutely dead.
What, deader than usual?
Oh, mate, literally, there was more seats than people.
That's never good.
Honestly, no.
Was it a 60,000 seater, isn't it?
Yeah, just over 60,000.
Terrible.
Well, it's going to be a big stadium in the Championship. A very big stadium.
Oh, yeah, mate.
Fucking
Yeah, I was going to say, Mark, I'm just looking at the average attendance for last year, and you had 59,800.
Oh, I think the Arsenal fans are very loyal, and they turn up week in, week out regardless. But I feel like the only way that the owners are going to change anything they do about it is when it starts affecting them monetarily.
Yeah.
You finish mid-table or bottom half, sponsors are going to go, sponsorship money is going to go down. Players not going to come. You're not going to sell as many shirts. Then people don't want to turn up because you're losing. That affects the mentality.
Don't get on TV as much. You lose TV revenue.
Yeah, you go even further down the league, and then like that's where it starts. You think now is the prime moment that they can do something about it, rather than letting the rot set in. Change it and do it quick. And get it
to be
right.
honest, mate, I mean, you just said there about letting the rot set in, mate. The rot is truly.
The rot from the fans is well and truly in.
Yeah.
As a club mentality and status, I think you've still got time to turn it around. You've got the players in that squad to do it.
Yeah, this is the really frustrating thing is that we haven't made that many signings from last season. There were areas that we needed to develop on. There was areas that we needed to strengthen in. At the start of the season, I was actually quite happy with the prospect of having David Luiz in, as we were discussing last week. Mm-hmm. He's got the experience. He's a serial winner, but he is very liable for letting goals in, for causing free kicks, penalties, making general mistakes. But it's the defence is something that's not a secret from Arsenal. It's not just something that's happened overnight. So it's not just fully contributed to David Luiz. We've had issues with our defence for God knows how many years now. And the one person, I said it last week, the one signing that I think would have been good is Saliba. But the only way that we were going to get him is if we sign him and put him back out on loan next season. Pay a little bit more money. You don't have to agree to that contract. Mm-hmm. And then you've got someone else who appears to be doing really well overseas. Granted, I know it's going to be an adaptive period for him to get into the Premier League, but
is that the point? Like in the summer when you spent your money, but you spent it very wisely and very sparsely across multiple players, where you were paying over several years and paying a small amount up front rather than just outright buying the players. Is that showing the impact of it now?
I don't. Well, no, because we got the players in, so that's irrelevant.
Yeah, but did it stop you from getting other players that would have made a more and a better impact to your team?
Who do you think would have been a better signing?
I don't think they've got the budget for the better signings. I don't think the owners put the money in. No. You look at like Harry Maguire went for £80 million. Skriniar from Inter Milan was touted at more than that. Dybala was touted at more than that.
Yeah, Lukaku, his price was ridiculous.
But when you look at those prices and look at what the Arsenal board make available to spend, when you look at them as a business, you look at that and go, "Fuck, they're making a hell of a lot of money." Mm-hmm. Most self-sustainable club in the country, but they don't put anything back in. You know, Manchester United, in the last 5 years, have spent £1 billion, maybe more. Same with Man City. Same with Chelsea. Arsenal haven't. You've got a couple of 100 million, maybe 500 million, which is half that. Now you're struggling to maintain it because you haven't got that top draw manager.
Oh yeah, I think I need to. I don't know what that was just then. That sound, but
it's remember, Arsene Wenger. It was, I think.
There's parts of me that's is kind of like waiting in anticipation to see who we could get, because there's been thousands of names that we've been linked with. It's like us every transfer window with the amount of players that we've been signed with. Do you know what I mean? Like, we could have had Ronaldo, we could have had Messi, blah blah blah. Yeah. We could have had this manager, that manager. But the thing is, I don't know who's going to be available, who's going to want the job, and B, who's going to be good enough to do the job. Yeah. Just with the form that we're in at the moment, we do need someone to come in. They need to be kind of like aggressive, but also be a brilliant man manager, because there's a lot of heads in that dressing room that need to be picked up quick to get the best out of the team going forwards.
Yeah. Well, it looked all positive with Emery, though, didn't it? And that was a hell of a drop off.
Yeah. So we a fairly average start to the season, and then we went on that 21 game unbeaten run, and then absolutely collapsed for the end of the season. Unfortunately, I mean, we started off the season okay,
but it's carried it over, isn't it?
And then just complete flop away. And as I said, I do feel sorry for Ljungberg, because he hasn't got the experience or the knowledge to know how to better this ship.
Excuse me.
We need to speak up. we just need someone in who's got the knowledge, the know-how,
make a difference,
and can make a difference. Yeah.
Put a stick in those players and get them moving.
Yes.
Good luck.
Give them a good kick up the backside.
So that was lovely and positive.
Yeah. All right.
I was going to say, so we've made our predictions for the weekend. You can see that on our previous show, and the prediction shows. So check that out. If you like it, make a comment, like it, share it, spread the news, even give your thoughts as well. Make your own predictions and let us know. See who can get closer to what happens. We've got myself, I've been Phil. We've got two boys that have been quiet.
I was just doing it just to make you feel awkward like you did with me a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I've been Mike.
And I've been Dele Alli. No, I'm Ian. Follow us on Twitter. They're all above.
Yeah, first. Yeah, Twitter names above.
Yeah.
As Phil said, like, subscribe, share it amongst your friends. Please leave a comment for stuff that you want to see coming up in future content. And
good night.
See a happy hammer, and a happy Duna soon.
We'll see. Tune in next week.